Royal sources refute Jeffrey Epstein's claims in emails that Sara Ferguson celebrated his release with Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. Welcome, Royal Watchers, to Crown Chronicles, your #1 royal destination where truth, tradition, and intrigue meet. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and join our ever-growing royal community, because every week, we uncover the secrets, the scandals, and the hidden truths behind the glittering palace walls. Now today's story takes us deep into a controversy that has shaken not just Buckingham Palace, but also the heart of Spain's royal and social elite, an unexpected twist involving Jeffrey Epstein, the Duchess of York, and her daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. Yes, you heard that right. In newly resurfaced emails, Epstein reportedly claimed that after his release from prison, he celebrated with Sara Ferguson and her daughters. But royal insiders are pushing back hard, calling this not only false but absolutely outrageous. And yet, the story has left royal watchers around the world asking, how close were the Yorks to the disgraced financier? And why are Epstein's name and royal connections suddenly resurfacing now? Let's dive in. In a world where royal reputation means everything, even a single rumor can send shockwaves through the monarchy. And when that rumor involves Jeffrey Epstein, the financier whose crimes and influence shook global elites, the stakes rise even higher. According to leaked emails that have recently made headlines, Epstein boasted to associates that after his 2010 release from jail, he was welcomed back into polite society by none other than Sara Ferguson, the Duchess of York. The emails reportedly claimed that Epstein had celebrated his freedom with Sara and her 2 daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, a statement that, if true, would have linked the young royals directly to one of the most controversial figures in modern history. But within hours of these claims resurfacing, royal sources came out swinging. A senior insider close to the York family told reporters, "It's simply not true. Neither Beatrice nor Eugenie ever celebrated anything with Jeffrey Epstein. This story is pure fiction." Still, the damage was done. The headlines were explosive. And for many, the story brought back uneasy memories of Sara Ferguson's past financial connections to Epstein, ties that she herself has previously acknowledged and apologized for. To understand the full weight of this controversy, we have to rewind to 2010, the year everything changed for the Duchess of York. Sara, affectionately known as Fergie, was in deep financial trouble. Her business ventures were collapsing, debts were mounting, and her royal reputation had already taken several hits. Around this time, she admitted to accepting financial help from Epstein, reportedly a payment of around £15,000 to help clear some of her personal debts. When that revelation became public, it was a public relations disaster. Epstein's name was already tainted by his conviction, and the idea that a senior royal figure, even an ex-wife of Prince Andrew, had accepted his money sparked fury among the public. In a rare move, Fergie issued a public apology, calling it a huge error in judgment. She told reporters, "I abhor pedophilia and child abuse and would never have had any association with Jeffrey Epstein if I had known what I know now." But now, with these new alleged emails surfacing, that chapter is being reopened, and this time, her daughters' names are being dragged into the narrative. For Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, this couldn't come at a worse time. Both sisters have spent years trying to build lives that balance royal duty with normalcy, all while carrying the burden of their father's scandals. Prince Andrew's downfall following his friendship with Epstein has cast a long, dark shadow over the York family. Since his disastrous BBC interview in 2019, where he claimed he had no recollection of ever meeting Epstein's accuser Virginia Giuffre, Andrew has retreated from public life, stripped of royal duties and military titles, and through it all, Beatrice and Eugenie have stood by him, quietly, loyally, but also with clear efforts to distance themselves from controversy. So when Epstein's alleged claims surfaced, suggesting they had been part of a post-prison celebration, royal sources were quick to defend them. One palace insider described the story as complete fabrication, designed to sensationalize a painful history. They insisted that neither of the princesses had any contact with Epstein after his conviction, and certainly never attended any event or gathering with him. What makes this story even more intriguing, however, is the timing of its resurgence. Why now? Some royal watchers believe the answer lies across the Atlantic. in the growing web of documentaries, books, and lawsuits that continue to peel back layers of Epstein's secretive world. Each new revelation sends ripples through powerful circles, especially those involving high-profile figures. It's also worth noting that the York family's image has been under renewed scrutiny as King Charles streamlines the monarchy. The king's vision is clear, a slimmed-down royal family focused on duty, transparency, and modern values. Beatrice and Eugenie, while much loved, are technically non-working royals. Yet, their proximity to scandal can still impact the crown's reputation. If their names appear in a sensational story, the palace feels it, even if the claims are unfounded. That's why royal aides have reportedly been working behind the scenes to ensure this latest controversy doesn't gain traction. One source told a London paper that the Yorks are distressed by the renewed speculation, calling it a cruel recycling of old lies. Still, one can't ignore how Epstein's shadow continues to haunt the royals, particularly Prince Andrew. Although this story directly concerns Sara and her daughters, it inevitably loops back to him. Andrew's friendship with Epstein was long and complicated. The two men were seen together in New York even after Epstein's first conviction, a decision Andrew has since admitted was a mistake. That infamous 2010 visit to Epstein's Manhattan mansion remains one of the most controversial episodes in modern royal history. Photos and witness accounts suggest Andrew stayed at Epstein's home for several days, leading many to question his judgment. Now, with new claims that his ex-wife and daughters somehow joined in celebrating Epstein's release, royal historians say it deepens the ongoing narrative that the York family's relationship with Epstein was more entangled than the public was led to believe. However, insiders argue that these renewed allegations ignore one crucial detail: the timeline. Both Beatrice and Eugenie were young women then, building their careers and maintaining a low profile. Sources close to them insist they were nowhere near Epstein's circle and had zero involvement in their mother's dealings. The Spanish angle, meanwhile, adds another fascinating layer. Recent reports suggest that international journalists tracking Epstein's global network have found potential links reaching into Spain, including elite social circles that occasionally overlapped with British royals. But royal sources in Madrid have been quick to clarify that the Spanish royal family had no involvement in any of these matters, and that the supposed cross-European celebrations mentioned in Epstein's alleged emails are pure fantasy. Spanish royal commentators, however, have noted that the controversy has reignited discussions about how Europe's aristocracies, once united by lineage and shared events, have become more vulnerable to association scandals in the age of digital leaks and conspiracy theories. For the House of Bourbon, already navigating its own internal challenges, the last thing they want is proximity to another royal family's storm. As for Sara Ferguson, she has continued to rebuild her public image. In recent years, she's written successful children's books, appeared on podcasts, and supported charitable causes. She's also remained close friends with Prince Andrew, even living with him at Royal Lodge in Windsor, a decision that continues to raise eyebrows among royal watchers. When asked about the new Epstein allegations, Fergie's spokesperson reportedly said that the Duchess has long made clear her regret over ever having accepted help from Jeffrey Epstein and remains appalled by his actions. But still, the headlines are unrelenting, proof that the past never truly stays buried when it involves royalty. So where does that leave us? At its core, this story is a reminder of how one man's dark legacy continues to echo through the halls of power, from Buckingham Palace to Madrid and beyond. Whether the latest email claims are completely false, partially true, or deliberately exaggerated, they've achieved their purpose, stirring old controversies and testing public trust in royal institutions. For Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, this is yet another challenge in their lifelong effort to define themselves beyond the shadow of scandal. They have growing families, steady careers, and an unshakable bond, yet, history has a way of pulling them back into the headlines. And for Sara Ferguson, it's another painful lesson about how one mistake, made in desperation, can ripple for decades, especially when your life is forever intertwined with royalty. One thing remains certain: the truth behind Epstein's words will continue to be debated, dissected, and questioned. But for the royal family, especially the Yorks, there's no celebrating here. Only a renewed resolve to protect their names, their daughters, and whatever dignity remains after so many years of public scrutiny. Thank you for watching Crown Chronicles.